Recently, this is your boy DJ Leon D. Recently, I went to San Diego. And, I really was disappointed in San Diego. Because this channel is about food. And San Diego is a big city with a few thousand people. A few million people in the metro area. I see why the San Diego Padres and some of the other teams, the San Diego Clippers, I see why they left San Diego. I totally get it. The food scene sucks there. The food scene sucks. Now, when I say that, I'm all about diverse. Diversity is my number one thing. I don't care what it is. I like diverse everything. But the food is not very diverse. They got a lot of seafood, which any city on the coast can give you seafood. Nothing unique. Lots of fried food, which I'm not a big fan of everything being fried. I like options. But they have restaurants where every single entree is fried. And I said, what the hell? Everything on that, every entree is fried. San Diego, their idea of food scene is Asian food. They got lots of Asian restaurants. I don't care where you are from Asia, they got a restaurant for you. Even Burmese food or whatever, whatever you want to call it. But, I try to find comfort food. You don't find good old American comfort food. No, you don't find none at all. Ain't no barbecue, which I didn't expect that. But let me tell you the one thing I learned about a lot in life. If the population is not diverse, the food isn't diverse. That is just how it works in almost every place you're going to go to. And now you got a lot of military there, and I thought to myself, what in the hell are people eating if they don't want seafood and Asian food, which is not really that far apart. Seafood and Asian food almost go hand in hand because the Asians will eat anything out of the ocean. And God forbid a Japanese, he'll eat the damn ocean and eat the salt on the bottom. We all know that they love, food in the water. Nothing wrong with that. But there are days where you want some other stuff to eat and it's not going to come out of the sea. And I don't want ramen 2 and 3 times a day. I don't want noodles all the time. And I don't want rice on every meal. So that's a problem. That's a major problem. Because as big as San Diego is, you should be able to find almost any and everything you want in San Diego. And there's no such thing as the San Diego dish. Like Philly got a cheesesteak. New York got pizza. Chicago got pizza, steak. No, you don't find that. You don't find that in San Diego. No, they got steakhouses. Don't get me wrong, but it's not San Diegoan. It's not something that you could only get in San Diego, or something San Diego is famous for, known for. That's what I'm trying to get to. There is no dish that San Diego's known for. Matter of fact, I'm gonna tell you how disappointed I was. You can't even find good Mexican food in San Diego. And we know they at the border looking right at you. I say, damn, somebody had to make it over here. Well, it seems like when they make it, they don't stop in San Diego. They go straight somewhere else. LA, Chicago, New York, Miami, wherever. They ain't stopping in San Diego. So San Diego you're gonna get your feelings hurt. It's not a foodie city at all. And I don't want to hear about, because sometimes people put in the comments about you went to the wrong part. No, I did not. First of all, I talked to people who live there. And second of all, I went to every part of San Diego. I was there for 2 weeks. I ate out twice a day for 2 weeks, trying to find that thing in San Diego that I can't get nowhere else. I couldn't find it. I ate down by the Navy bases, by the museums. I ate at restaurants, and I had the same opinion of all of San Diego that I had from the first time I ate out. And I do a lot of research to go to restaurants and when I want to eat food, so I can give you an honest opinion. I don't want to go to just the black part, the white part, the Asian part, or whatever, and say this is all of San Diego. I'm not that kind of person. No. And I like trying ethnic food in every city I go to. And whether it's Iranian, whether it's Japanese, it's kind of like Australia. It's bland as hell unless you want something fried. Just like Australia. You know, Australia got a lot of food that's non-Australian. Or, put it this way, I don't want to say non-Australian. It's not only in Australia. Australia, you know, when I ask people locally, hey, you want some good barbecue or you want some good food? The first thing they tell me, they got Korean barbecue down the street. I've been to Korea. And the Korean barbecue, like the Korean barbecue, they sell in here. I've been to Korea. I didn't come to San Diego to get Korean barbecue. No. I want something that people talk about San Diego. They say, you got to try this. But at the same time, I'm going to tell you, that, you know, my downside, I don't go to a bar to eat. And a lot of people do. I don't go to a restaurant to drink. A lot of people do. If I go to a bar, I might have a bite to eat, but I'm not going to judge that entire city on what I ate in a bar. Bars don't have great food. That's pre-made food, ready to serve, fried, ready for you at any given moment. Restaurants, the bartenders don't normally make good drinks because that's not why people come there. They come there to eat a good meal. Now, they can tell you about the food. So, my whole point was San Diego, a city with 2.5 million people, should have something for everybody. They do not. You can't go there with your original taste buds. You have to go there, and they're gonna give you taste buds. And when I say that city gives you taste buds, because if you want something else other than what they serve, no matter where you go at, you can't find it. But San Diego is not a city with a bunch of have or have-nots. They all are haves. So that could be one of the reasons too. Because when you go and you got this pretty view, and see, I'm not a person, and I know you got to pay for the ambience of a restaurant. That's why I like Shacks, because they ain't put no money into the signage outside. All their money it's all their money comes into the product, the food. The shack, the sign might be falling down outside and all this, but you can see the name of the restaurant 2 miles away and it's flashing and it's neon lights and all that. Somebody's paying for all that. That's in the price of the food. And see, and normally it's kind of like French food. The food's kind of cute. The presentation is nice. It ain't gonna fill you up. Seafood ain't never fill nobody up. Seafood don't fill you up. The only way seafood gonna fill you up is you eat a whole damn whale. But you eat 5 or 6 shrimps, that's not made to fill you up overnight. You burp, you hungry as hell like you never ate. So San Diego is not that kind of city that if people say it's got a little everything, especially when people who went to the University of California at San Diego tells you that. Now, they got a lot of military, they got a lot of students. And young military and students eat about the same. They're about the same age, age range. They eat just alike. So you want a big boy food, something that I'm gonna spend $30, $40, $50 on. But when I walk out, man, I'm gonna have to roll into the car and roll into my apartment or roll into the house because I'm gonna be full. You're not gonna get that in San Diego. I always felt like I was 4 or 5 bites short of being full. I always felt that way. And I'm thinking 10 bites, I should have been full. But when you eat a lot of seafood and a lot of vegetables don't really fill you up. Not me, at least. That's why they give you vegetables. That's why I order a lot of salads. Salads don't fill you up. Salads are just a starter to make sure your digestive system works fine. It's not to be there to be the end all. And San Diego is so bad, wants to be known as this foodie city. Not bad as Charleston, but it's just not a foodie city. So don't get your hopes up. But at the same time, the food didn't cost a lot of money. No, it didn't cost a lot of money. It was not like, where I live on the East Coast that, you're going to pay $50 for food. Because you can go get an Asian meal, you can go a decent Asian meal over there for $20. which is bad. And plus, I think that mentally, because I don't like watery foods, I think mentally that was a problem for me as well. I don't like watery foods. In other words, I'm not a soup person. Now, don't get me wrong, I don't mind French onion soup. I don't mind that into something, when I have something else to go with that, like a steak, I don't mind that. But if that's the main course, my main meal is going to be watery, I already know I'm not going to be full. So I don't order stuff where I know I'm going to be disappointed later on. But now, if that's just your starter, that's fine too. But they have a lot of meals with noodles in it. They have a lot of meals with noodles in it. And I'm not a noodle person. Don't get me wrong. It's all pasta to me. And I do like a good pasta with meat. And I don't like boiled food a lot either. So I have my own prejudices stuff already. I have that already and stuff. So I already have some issues already with myself because my expectations are never, ever going to be high for things that I already know. And being a chef, I already know what I like and don't like, but I like to try different things. But also, I like different things that are fulfilling too. Like I said, watery foods and noodles just ain't my thing. Now, don't get me wrong, there's certain things I'll try, but my idea of noodles is spaghetti. Give me the Italian pasta or European pasta. Now I'm all right. But watery stuff, nah, it's not me. But San Diego, I think, got a lot of potential, but you only get food from a diverse set of people when you have a diverse set of people. And they just do not have that in San Diego at all. No. No matter where you go, you see the same type of look, same type of dumbfounded look, And I be thinking, I say, man, where's Jose? Why can he just stop there versus going to LA? LA got enough Jose's. Just stop here. Let me eat your food because I know your food's going to be good. So when you go out there, just don't think that you're going to leave the zoo and you're going to get this great food. Just don't think that because it's not going to happen. Now, people tell me, oh, you go to this place, go to that place. Now, don't get me wrong. There are places I went to that people recommended who live there. And I'm like, okay, I'm never going to this person's house for dinner because this is shit they think's good. No. And, nothing wrong with that, trying other ethnicities' food. I'm all for that, and I like doing it myself. But it was just, I don't know, just disappointing. For a city that big, you're one of the top biggest cities in America, and you only got 2 types of food. I can run out 40 different types of foods in LA, and they're all good. And I can't name 5 in San Diego. I'm like, okay, my options are very, very limited. I can't get this. And maybe their idea of comfort food is, ramen noodles. Maybe that's just their idea of comfort food. Not I. And I know people I used to work with that used to eat that every day for lunch. And plus I don't like my food heavily salted. If you cook my food and put no salt on it, I'm okay with that because I can always add salt. I can always add salt to what I want to eat. But when you done already told me how much salt I want to eat, we got a problem. So my whole point to this is that if you go to San Diego, your best meal might be at a fast food joint, unless you into heavily seasoned ramen and a lot of watery stuff. And somebody done told everybody in the world, not just San Diego, but told everybody in the world they got the best chicken wings you ever gonna have. I lived in Asia before. I have never seen so many chicken joints in my life. I'm talking about every restaurant you go into, they offer you chicken wings. I am not a fried chicken wing fanatic. I'm not. But a lot of people done told everybody that, they got the best in the world. It's like that thing, hot chicken now. Everybody wants to make hot chicken. It's a Nashville thing. I'm not ordering outside of Nashville. I don't care if you came from Nashville. It's the reason why you left. And the reason why you left probably got something to do with, the hot chicken wasn't good enough, or whatever reason it was. But at the same time, like I said, I asked some military guys for recommendations to restaurants. They gave me some shacks, and they was not bad at all. But I had to go a long way to go there. It wasn't like it was dotted all over the city. Nope, I had to go a long way to go there. So the disappointment is, along the West Coast, every city got food that just totally different than the next biggest city, which is what I like. I like, the differences. But I didn't understand quite San Diego culture, I guess, because I'm thinking, okay, what kind of people live in San Diego? Are they all white? Are they all black? Are they all Asian? I didn't know. But going by the food that when I was there, I still know what the hell they got there, because I couldn't find pockets. I can find a lot of people in North by La Jolla, in North San Diego, and I can tell they had money. And they eat out, but the restaurants wasn't anything that, even the names, it don't just grab you and hug you. Even the names. I'm like, man, they ain't got no crazy, like the garlic, the stinking tomato, what do you call it in San Francisco? The stinking rose, where everything got garlic on it. And it piques your curiosity, makes you want to go in there and say, I never had garlic in beer before. I never had garlic with this before. It piques your curiosity. San Diego didn't have no fancy names. Maybe they did in these Asian names that I couldn't translate to, but I used Google Translate, and I just didn't see some just come and see me. And a lot of restaurants had repetitious food. Not every Chinese person is from Shanghai or speak Mandarin. Some got to come from other parts of China too. And I know that food's different, like in America, the South, the West, the North. They got all kinds of different foods. And I was just looking for something that in San Diego says, you must come here. It's kind of like if you go to Bubba's Rib Shack. You say, Bubba's Rib Shack. That means that Bubba's in there cooking. And Bubba been around here 20 years. I see a line. I got to go try Bubba. It's not like that in San Diego. No. And don't get me wrong, it wasn't like everything was a chain restaurant. You can get Dick's Steakhouse. You can get, it wasn't no Mabel's, comfort food kitchen. It was none of that kind of stuff. I tried Asian food, and it was good what I had, but a few of the times I just wasn't stuffed enough to make me want to go in there and eat. And I got light meals because it was always lunchtime. Because like I said, my mind was really on the pandas anyway, But I got light meals, and it wasn't bad light meals. But I was thinking, okay, what would I want for dinner? I can get Chinese takeaway here. There's nothing new there, But I tried other countries other than China. But it was just not me. It was just not me. And I kept saying, I know they got some hell of a food right here somewhere. And when people suggested places, I went there. I'm like, okay, you got to do better than this right here. And I didn't see a lot of restaurants crowded either. And this is in October this year. The weather was great, but I didn't see, for the number of tourists that go to San Diego for the beaches and for, the pandas, the zoo and other stuff, I thought it'd be a lot more crowded. Nope, not at all. And we was going at 7, 8 o'clock, and the whole city can't be eating dinner at 5 o'clock. That's impossible. But and traffic on the highways are always busy, always full. A lot of traffic there. But I just couldn't get over it. It's not a foodie city like I want. Oh, and the main thing, I drove around looking for food trucks. I found a couple. They're disappointing, but I should have known that. But it's not a food truck city either. Not by the colleges, not by the downtown area. Downtown area had no food trucks. So I'm like, okay, they got no food trucks. This is not a foodie city at all. Okay, they ain't got food trucks. Let me go into restaurants. And a lot of the Asian restaurants are in strip malls. I did notice that. They're in strip malls, so I'm like, okay, this is kind of weird. You know, I just want to pull in and just park in front of the restaurant and eat. But that don't mean a whole lot. But like I said, the shiny neon signs and all that is what you saw. You know, I drove around in neighborhoods thinking I was going to find some special place. No, everybody gave me the same directions to the same place that I had already been to. And they get basically, I went to this restaurant. What they gave me was go next door. I'm like, okay, this sucks. You know, and then how do you put 4 or 5 Asian restaurants side by side? And they almost all serving the same thing. Now I got to eat at 5 of them to find out which 4 I don't like as much as I like the one I do like. So this is your boy DJ Leon D. Don't waste your money going to San Diego to eat. It's just not worth it. Peace.